Hey guys, hanging out at the airport again, and I promised that I would break down the two pivotal hands that were the reason that I won this last event in Cleveland. And so the first hand, it was pretty obvious to me from the flop that she was betting defensively. She made a huge bet on the flop, and the flop had a really wet texture. There was a flush draw and a straight draw. I had neither, but seeing this big bet, I figured that if I hit, that I would be able to make her fold. So on the flop, I called the bet. She sighed heavily. That reinforced what I knew already. And the turn was a brick, and she said, how much does it take to bet you off? So, I mean, she told on herself there. So I continued. I called her turn bet because there was just so much money in the pot at that point.
This flight has checked in totally full. This flight has checked in totally full. We thank you. If you want me to roll you to the next flight.
So I knew that if the river came either a straight card or a flush card, that she was going to fold. So I called the turn bet, and this was before the end of registration, so I could always jump back in. I called the turn bet, and the flush card hit the river. And the second it hit the board, I shoved. Now, she only had like 15% of the total pot left, but she took no time in mucking her hand and was very frustrated. The second hand that really did it and was pivotal was there was an older lady who was to my direct right who was just amazing. She was 75, and we had talked about some things in her life. She was awesome. But she had chased me to the river a few times, and I looked at her and told her, I really like you, but when I have the hand, I'm going to have to bet really hard from now on to get you out. And she said, do what you have to do. And it wasn't 5 minutes later, she was on the button, I was in a small blind, and I looked down at pocket kings. She made a 10x raise on the button after it had been folded to her. So that told me that she had a nice hand, but not like a super strong hand. So I snap shoved with pocket kings. The big blind folded, and she debated for just 5 or 6 seconds, called, turned over ace jack suited, said she just couldn't fold that hand, but it was for 90% of her chips. So really, it definitely would have been a fold if it was the other way around. The board ran out super scary, but it held. And that was when I doubled up, became the chip leader of the entire tournament, and just went from there. So those are the two hands, and both of those hands were kind of instinctual, and the second hand with the kings just kind of was easy for me. So thanks guys for following, and I hope this helped a little bit.